Have you been the wholesaler on any deals?
Not the listing side, but on the buy on the investor side, I have. Yeah, but we should get some more wholesales.
I feel like it's so. There's a lot that goes on.
You'd be interested in going to a workshop? Like we'll go together.
I'm down.
And go to an investors
Yeah, I'm
club.
down because like
There's a lot of opportunities where the thing is not everything's market ready. So, but there's pressure. You know,
right.
with like your client had pressure.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, it was cool because he ended up talking to. We got on a three-way phone call. The wholesaler, myself, and the client, and the wholesaler came. He's like, "Look, we want to get you out of this deal. You know, one more month, it's another payment." And my client said, "He's like, I want to be very clear with you. I'm not hurting for money."
yeah,
He goes, "It's just a stress that I have walking to his house every single day,
yeah,
knowing how much work it needs,
yeah.
how much money it's going to cost me, and where I'm living." He's like, "At the end of the day, I made a bad decision getting in here, and it didn't help, my health conditions, and it's just adding to that stress." He goes, "I'm not losing my house. I'm not late on my payments."
Yeah.
He's like,
When did he buy the house?
end of beginning of 2023.
See, I I have a theory that this year is going to be the year of the exit for a lot of people, particularly not being ageist here, but older persons who are near retirement or already in retirement. A deal that I have in escrow right now. They bought it a little over a year and a half ago. Not with me. They had a really young rookie agent. I feel that they overpaid, but I mean, it's obviously easy for me to Monday quarterback in, like, you overpaid. They bought it in 2023. Um, they went from a townhome. They wanted a bigger house. They wanted a little bit more room to play. They had a pool for their grandkids, and the agent didn't explain to them the whole property's tax situation. So not only did they not do Prop 60 to transfer their property tax assessment over,
Right.
they weren't educated or told at all from their agent that there was going to be a supplemental tax bill. The prior owner had owned the house for 40 years, so you can imagine what the supplemental tax bill was, right? So, and their payment was substantially larger than what they're already paying at their townhome because of the interest rate at the time. So they call me as a referral, and hey, we want to sell. We're tight on money. Like, this is way more than we bargained for. Maintenance, repairs. I'm just used to having a townhome where the HOA take care of most everything. So they overshot a little bit. Expectations weren't set correctly. So now they found themselves in the situation that's not perilous, but they feel stressed.
Right.
They feel like they can't enjoy their retirement. They feel like they can't enjoy their time with their grandchildren. They can't take the trips they want to take because the house is now taking up most of their resources. And the gentleman tells me, we're getting some offers, and he's like, we're not hurting for money. And I'm like, no, I understand that. My question to him was, but how long can you sustain this?
Right.
This right now with the lifestyle that you want to lead and the fixed income that you have because of your retirement. He's like, well, my retirement's robust. I go, yes, it is. But how robust is it? And obviously, we're sitting here selling your house because you need to move on. You need an exit strategy, right? So once you take all the emotions out and see the opportunity to exit and how much of a release and freedom that could be of resources, stress, time, like, right? So I see that. And we had another client, the escrow fell out. Same deal. Lost her business, no income, got behind on mortgage payments, and bought it in 2023.
Right.
So 3 years ago, man. So this year we're gonna see a lot of exits, and I don't want to call them distressed sales yet, but they are. I'm gonna call them stress sales because these individuals are just here. Everything's expensive. Food's expensive, milk's expensive, gas is expensive, everything is expensive, and now they've got this house, and they're stressed and giving themselves health problems.
Right. Yeah, like it's one of those things where that's right around the time where the height of the market hit, right?
Yeah, it was competitive, remember?
Right.
Oof, it was still competitive.
Yeah, and prices were probably at the tip before they started coming down shortly after. And same with my client. He faced issues. So to a point where it was it knocked him out for 9 months out of work.
Yeah.
But his was he purchased as an investment property to remodel himself, and those health issues led to other health issues that
He just got behind.
yeah. Well, not only did he get behind, but he just totally like limiting his ability to do the work himself. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like you said, you know, the one thing that just resonates and like I can, it's a heavy weight on that I feel obviously because we care,
Obviously,
right? Like him saying, coming home from work every day and just feeling that weight on my shoulders of where I live,
yeah.
knowing what I'm walking into is just so heavy for me. I'm like, man, dude, like I'd hate for anybody to have that feeling,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Just so where he's at right now, it's let's just he in his mind, he's not making any money
Yeah.
on the sale. He just wants it off and just to be able to breathe
Yeah.
and just, you know, readjust his living situation and his what he tells me, like I just want to make sure my wife is gonna be fine if my health doesn't get better.
You know, I think, David, at the end of the day, I know you're a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of this. Simple math.
Right.
And sometimes we have to qualify the sales based on just addition and subtraction. Are you negative every month, or are you so tight that you're becoming negative in other areas?
Right.
You're behind on credit card payments. You're behind on your, you know, whatever, your car payment, because like, holy crap, I'm so tight. Everything's so tight that I have to maintain this. And then the level of stress and distress that could create a world of pain inside your head and inside your heart. You know, if you could just show them, hey, this is the math. Yes, it looks like you're not going to make money on this because, you know, a lot of the times when it comes to investing, it has to do with timing. It has to do with when you bought, how you bought, what terms. You know, I always say you win when you buy. If the terms are great for you as a buyer, that's when you win. You get paid when you sell. So if the timing and the terms weren't right, and the timing of the seller aren't right, then you're gonna, you know, like just linearly, you're gonna lose money. But if you're, say, this guy's expensing, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000 a month, you know, like get rid of this asset. He didn't lose money, he didn't make money, but now he's just freed himself of a $5,000 burden.
Right.
I'm like, that's a net $5,000 plus to your bottom line. How much peace and tranquility will that give you, you know, for your lifestyle and for your health and your family?
Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes, you know, like when you look at it that way, that's you can't put a price on that, right?
Yeah.
The mental sanity and the feeling of
That's
of
everything.
just, you know, being stress free. So
Yeah, I think you and I are wired a little differently because we really do care about our people. We care about, you know, their health, their mental health. We care about their families. Not to say that other agents don't, because
Right.
there's some really great agents in our area, and there's some really bad ones too. But there's some, for the most part, we have good agents. We have a lot of good agents. We have a few great agents.
Right.
You know, I think we're different because oftentimes, and I know I've heard you ask this of buyers, where you're like, "Hey, are you sure you want to buy? You know, it's okay to rent." You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and I think you and I are a few of the
Yeah.
agents who actually give that advice to buyers, like, hey, do you really want to buy? Like, maybe you shouldn't buy. And yes, maybe that's not beneficial to our business, but to our humanity, it's much more beneficial, right? Because we're guiding them with the right mindset. Like, hey, look, this is an asset, this is math, but when you buy your house for you, it's your biggest liability.
Right.
It's the biggest, for most people, it's going to be the biggest nut to have to crack every month for most people, for the majority of people, right? So I think when we put that into perspective for them, then we are able to better guide them to make better educated decisions for themselves, for what their life and maybe their, you know, 5-year, 10-year, whatever plan is for how they're going to grow
Right.
as a family or as a couple or as an individual too. So,
Oh yeah, totally. I agree 100%.
so that's interesting. So yeah, I think this year is going to be the year of the exit. So for the 2023 purchase, for a lot of 2023 purchases.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about this? I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but if the Fed decreases rates substantially enough, more than a point, what do you see the market doing in this? I mean, there will be a lot more refis, I think.
Right.
A lot more, which will be good for our LO friends. But what do you think would happen to the market here in San Diego specifically?
And I think so. Just seeing the market itself over the last month or so, actively working listings
Yeah,
and a lot of that entry level price point,
yeah,
the activity that of individuals are out looking,
yeah,
right? It's increased significantly from what I've seen it 6 months ago,
yeah,
9 months ago. I still feel like people aren't pulling the trigger just yet
yeah,
because they're waiting. Now you combine the amount of buyers that are already pre-approved, that are out, shopping online,
yeah.
that are just, stopping by open houses, to a significant drop in rate. It's just going to create another wave of frenzy.
I think so. It'll get
Yeah.
competitive, more multiple bids,
Oh
bidding
yeah.
wars. But I do think that on the condo side of things, I do think that it's still there's a lot of fat still in the
Yeah.
pricing for condos. I mean, obviously this is dependent on area too, but man, there's no in my perspective, you know, some condos, small condos, being the cost of a single family residence in another neighborhood, and being the same cost as a single family residence, and you have HOA on top of that. And in some areas,
Yeah.
Melrose, you're like, this is not sustainable.
Yeah.
Like, who in this neighborhood, who's gonna live here? Who's gonna pay for this?
It's,
And so I'm seeing like, boom, condo pricing going pop, pop, pop,
right.
pop. Single family residence is kind of stable,
Yeah.
right? But condos like, I don't know if you've
No,
been
yeah.
seeing that.
So it's hard to swallow that payment in a condo, right?
Yeah.
But I think most buyers are now trying to think outside of the box, trying to get creative with what they're buying,
Yeah.
and how they're buying it, right? And who's going to be involved in the purchase. They're thinking, multi-generational.
Yeah.
Let's move in mom, dad, help with the kids. Let's convert a garage.
Yeah.
Whether they do it right away or see it in the future.
Yeah.
You can't do that with the condo.
No.
You're very limited with what you can do to expand, or even, how many people you're going to put in a condo.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I think that has a lot to do with it. The prices are the prices what they are. It is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right. But then when you have a house, an SFR, that has a larger yard, that has a garage that you could potentially see
Convert it to an ADU.
convert, right? That adds either
money
an
maker.
additional space for you to rent out,
Yeah.
or move somebody in that can help out with the mortgage.
Yep. Like I have this deal right now in Paradise Hills. The house is small. It's just under 1,000 square feet. The garage is almost half the size of the house, if not like 70%.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's an ADU conversion.
Absolutely.
That's going to be $2,500 a month in rent at least.
Yeah.
And it has such a big lot. I'm like, JADU in the back, another 1,500. I'm like, wow, if you're able to do these things, this owner of this home, if they so decide to stay living in the house and have 2 units generating income for them, it's going to subsidize their mortgage, self-subsidize their mortgage, where their out of pocket is less.
Totally.
And they can start saving and saying to themselves, hey, maybe we'll take some equity from here and buy another spot.
Right.
And then they rent the house. Now they have 3 units, 3 doors performing for them, making money. And this is the way I like, and I know you do too, like to consult our clients, our buyer clients. Like, hey, this property has this potential. You could do this, this, and this. 90% of people aren't going to do it,
Right.
but there's that 10% that sees it, can capture the vision and be like, yes, I can do that. But even with condos, I like to give guidance and say, look, I know this is where you're going to live, but eventually, especially if it's a young family, I'm like, eventually you're going to have a kid or 2 or 3, or, like, you're going to need more rooms.
Right.
You're going to want more rooms, maybe not need them, but you're going to want more rooms. But I always give them a rental analysis. This is what the rental comps are in this neighborhood right now. If you had to exit this condo and not sell it, you can rent it for X amount. Are you going to be, breaking even? Are you going to be making money, or are you going to be negative? Like right now, a lot of condos are negative, right? So it's like, maybe this is not a good investment at this price point.
Yep.
Like, let's look at an SFR. But the price is a little bit higher. Yes, but the price is higher, but the cost, because of the lack of HOA and the lack of Melrose, the price, your monthly cost is going to be
right around
lower, or if not the same.
Offsets,
It's
right?
like you want a yard, you want potential to build and do more things. Like, oh my God! So I like to guide clients that way. I know you do as well. I think there's a big opportunity with those types of buyers.
Totally. So it's just it's a matter of like having them see the vision, right?
Yeah.
So
vision. It takes a lot of vision.
Right.
And I always say that in our gig, we're not so much the, you know, we're not the captain of the ship or the, so we're more like, I would say we're navigators. We're plotting the map for the client. They're the pilot.
Right.
They got to go there. They gotta fly in, but we're gonna help them navigate it.
Right.
So we're plotting in all the coordinates and so forth. Ooh, maybe we shouldn't go that way. We should go this way. Okay, cool. And then they have to decide to fly there.
That's a good analogy.
So I think we're more navigators than pilots, but we have to do our studying. We have to keep up to date with market trends and know the nuances. Right. It's like, for instance, I was noticing that November through December, dead, everything. All my listings, hardly any showings, nothing. My buyers are like, we're gonna hold off. Why? I think obviously people get distracted with the holidays, but because everything is so expensive, like, oh, I don't want to stretch. But as soon as January hit, like that first sunny weekend we had in January, holy crap, and like everything got busy.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
I did. I mean, it's interesting to see how it goes from just literally a week or two goes by and it's just a completely different market that we go into, right?
Wow.
So, and I think a lot of it has to do with the talks of rates going. I know rates have gone down.
Yeah.
I don't like to talk rate because at the end of the day, there's ways to structure and there's ways to go around the rate that you see on paper. But we can't avoid the fact that people are on Instagram seeing every other realtor posting rates drop. Yelling at the top of the lungs, rates drop, when in fact
they haven't. They haven't.
But I mean, at the end of the day, that shows us how fast news spreads and how it creates a little frenzy, right?
Yeah. So, San Diego is a market where, just like our weather, we have microclimates. Right. So we have little micro markets.
Absolutely.
That are super hyperactive and some that are depressed. Like we talked about condos. That's a micro market. Certain neighborhoods are micro markets. We're like, oh man, this pocket of whatever Chula Vista is like, they're selling like hotcakes. And then you go over a mile over, you're like, man, I can't move it. I was having a talk with an agent who called me on a pricing strategy. I had a deal in escrow there, or I closed a deal a while back, and she hit me up. Hey, I'm gonna list something right by the unit you sold. I'm thinking of pricing it this way. And what do you think? She's like, because man, I'm seeing the market times there. They're just longer, 100 days, 150 days. And like, ooh, and it's a part of Otay Ranch, Montecito.
Okay.
Yeah, ooh, those are sitting. Yeah. They're just sitting. But if you go further down to, a little bit west, everything there is just flying off the counters. It's wild. So it's little micro.
Exactly. It's so different. You go from 3 blocks over, and it's a whole different community, right? So it's interesting to see. One thing I also saw over the last couple months, leading up from about July to summer, so June to about August, September, a lot of inventory.
Yes.
30, 40, 50 days on market, 60 days on market. But then when we hit the November, December, that time frame, either listings decreased, either pulled off the market, a lot less. And I saw that I had a listing in West Chula Vista. I had I think we listed in December, we had 7 comps.
Wow.
We were up against, I think it was 8 listings actives within a mile radius, compared to what it looked like 3 months prior.
Yeah.
You see a for sale sign on every other block.
Yeah.
5 open house signs leading in different directions on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah.
But I think that has a lot to do as well with the buyer perspective of, oh my goodness, there's less listings.
Yes.
I need to jump in.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Another trend I'm seeing right now too. No one's really talking about it. It's more of a micro trend, but it's becoming a little bit more aggressive. Notices of default. So I'm seeing a lot more NODs. So I don't feel that they'll essentially convert to foreclosures yet, because the first step that most people who are in that phase of the NOD phase, facing foreclosures, the first step is denial. They're like, I can't believe this is happening.
Right.
But then they usually call their lender, the mortgage bank, and try to get a loan modification. Some of these individuals are getting loan modifications, but oftentimes the terms are not favorable for the owner. Um, so eventually, those are going to have to pop. Although I have taken, I sold a foreclosure last year. I'm getting 2 more foreclosure listings. These are from private money lenders on residential property, where their investors just went belly up.
Yeah.
So they're like
They're getting out.
they foreclosed on them.
Right.
So I'm starting to see the trend there first, but I feel that we're going to start seeing that on the your regular homeowner owner occupied, and I also think we're going to see a sprinkling of short sales, particularly with those 2020 late 2022 2023 buyers who are in a mess financially right now. Maybe they lost their job, maybe they lost their business, death in the family, divorce. I feel we're going to see some short sale properties on market, which for our audience, the short sale is when the homeowner owes more than what the home is worth.
Yeah.
So it's a nuanced type of sale. There's a lot of negotiating and back and forth with the bank. There's nothing short about it. It's a long process, but there could be opportunities for buyers there, and obviously for the sellers, just releasing some of that financial constraint that they're experiencing. So there's a lot going on, man.
There is. The cool thing is you 20 plus years in the market, so you've seen a lot, and you've caught a lot of trends. You've been through a lot of changes, right?
Well, you have too. Yeah, no, we've been through a lot, but I'll say this: we've been here before. We're gonna be all right.
Yes.
Everything's gonna be good. So it's just managing the waves and the energy that come with it.
Yep.
So that's it. That's it. Taking action quickly, making decisions based on information, decisions based on what makes sense, not emotions.
Right.
Emotions can really mess up your decision making process.
Yep.
Because if people get really attached to a property, or maybe the properties it's a status. They get attached to the status of being a homeowner, and it's like, well, who am I if I don't own a home? There's a whole lot of things that we have to digest with our clients and go through, almost like psychotherapists,
Right.
in the sense of like, hey, it's gonna be okay. Like, this doesn't define you. This doesn't define you as a person. So we wear a lot of hats. We get to wear a lot of hats in this business, right? So we're negotiators, we're salespeople, we're psychiatrists, we're family counselors, we're divorce counselors, we're all kinds of counseling. So I think when people are choosing their agents, they need to look at the human part of the agent as well. Not only their skill, the skill is really important. We have great skill. The human part, absolutely, the intellect, the nuanced perspective that we can bring to the table. That's really crucial for clients, so that they're guided in the right way that benefits them.
Totally.